welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you can see by the title, I am finally testing and reviewing and playing with the Stacey Marie Bperfect collaboration palette. This is called the Carnival palette. It contains, I need to count, 17 vibrant mattes, 7 high pigment shimmers and 2 highlights / shimmers. This palette is available on Beauty Bay or via Bperfect. It is £40. That's expensive. As Kathleen likes to say, I'm so cool. I will be honest with you, there is 2 reasons I have not bought this palette up until yesterday when I placed my order on Beauty Bay. Literally came in 2 o'clock, so 12:30. 16 hours this palette came in. Beauty Bay delivery it's just incredible. So £40, very expensive in my opinion. For a brand I don't know that much about, Bperfect isn't that well known a brand. Maybe it's more well known in Ireland, but certainly over here I've not heard of it until Stacey Marie started talking about them. And also I have a lot of bright palettes in my collection, so I thought I don't need it. However, yesterday I watched the Jeffree Star and Mitchell video and I was like, that makeup look. And I actually thought, I was like, I could probably do that makeup look without having this palette, but the one shade, Foolish, the shade on my lid, I was like, I don't have that in my collection and I need that shade. The palette is absolutely ginormous as well. I wasn't expecting it to be this big. It's really big, that's it compared to my head. I'm trying to angle it so it's not too bright. It's gorgeous, it really is. The one highlight up here is too dark for me. This one's fine. It's what I'm actually wearing as my highlight. It's a lot more blinding than I thought it was going to be. I watched a few reviews of this when it first came out and people were saying that they weren't that blinding. But I've used it dry. I don't know much, what much more you could want from a highlight. Anyway. We are going to, as always, jump into some swatches, although swatches mean diddly squat. Really, they don't mean anything. And then I'm going to jump into the kind of reviewing it on my eye portion of the video. It's not really a tutorial, but I just wanted to show you me using it on camera so you can see how they apply. But my thoughts are, yes, they are very pigmented, but very, very, very blendable. Literally not an issue blending them. I found one shade slightly patchy on a sticky base, like a wet base. Maybe it wouldn't be that way if your base was set, but I like using my eyeshadows on top of a wet base, so without setting it with powder. So yeah, let's jump into swatches and then we will move on to like putting it on my eye. See, my eye, no one eye. I'm going to swatch it in this part of my arm like I always do. I'm just going to start at the top and work my way along. So this shade is the shade Shuffle. Then we've got the shade Guilty. Another matte, it's a really nice matte. I like that a lot. I'm just going to do one swatch just so you can kind of see what it looks like. But like I said, swatches don't translate to how it applies on the eye. The next one we've got is our first shimmer. This is called Hustle. Ooh, baby. Then we've got the shade Naked, which is like a pale, ashy brown. It doesn't swatch very beautifully. I don't care. Then we've got the shade, I will say when you kind of swatch them on your finger, I don't know if you can see, but they look a bit chunky. Like there is a lot of kick up in the pans when you swatch them. So yeah, this is the shade Basic. And then this is the shade Rowdy. Next row is another matte. We've got the shade Funky, which is a really gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous bright pink. I will say they do have quite a lot of kick up in the pan. Most of the shades that I've swatched have kick up in the pan. Then we've got the shade Pink Me. This isn't going to show up as much. This reminds me of Cube from the ABH Subculture palette. It's what I've used on my inner corner. It's very subtle. White base with a kind of a pink reflect. My camera battery is about to die. Then we've got a bright yellow matte called Keen. I think it swatches really nice. And then Lit, which is a bright orange. Then we've got the shade Wifey, which is another deep pinky burgundy. And then we've got the shade Hush, which is another gorgeous metallic. That is the first 2 rows. There they are there, a bit closer. So starting on the third row, I'll go down this arm. We've got the shade Foolish, which is the one that's all over my eyelid. It's like a neon coral. Doesn't swatch that nicely, but as you can see it on my eyelid, it is gorgeous. Then we've got the shade Wasted, which is actually a really impressive matte purple. Again, it's just when you swatch it and apply pressure to the pans, it kicks up a lot. So it swatches quite chunky and like chunks fall off. But this isn't how you're supposed to use eyeshadows. Then we've got Queenie, which is a metallic gold. Wow. Then we've got Mint, which is a mint shade. Actually quite impressive on the swatch. Then we've got the really gorgeous shimmery blue in the palette called Recharge. And then we've got Sky, which is a matte. They go really beautifully together. Then we've got Liquor. Well, I'm not going to swatch this next one. So this is Liquor, a really deep purple, and then we've got Chant, which is a more muted purple. It's a really gorgeous colour. I really want to use that like as a big smoky eye. Then we've got a matte green called Envy. We've got the gorgeous shade called Breezy, which is my kind of eyeshadow shade. Like, that is just stunning. Then we've got our second last metallic, which is called Moony. Is it Moony? Yeah. Oh, my finger's a bit grubby, sorry. That's a really, really pretty like gold. It's really interesting. And then we've got Mood, which is a really deep matte blue. So that is the, third and fourth rows just there. And to swatch the highlights, I've got Sinner. This is the deeper one. And then Saint, which is the one that I'm wearing on my face. I actually did that the opposite way around. Sorry. That is Sinner and that is Saint. I think they're both really pretty, but of course that Sinner is way too dark for me. So I am suitably swatched and grubby. I think that the palette actually swatched really, really well. Definitely some that don't swatch as nicely as others, but we don't care about swatches on this channel anymore because they in no way reflect how the shadows actually perform on your eye. I think this palette's really nice. Really glad I bought it. I'm definitely going to use it an awful lot. That is my feelings, that is my thoughts. Let's jump in to putting it on my eye, but I will bid thee farewell from future Melissa. Bye! So as you can see, I've pretty much got all of my makeup on. I have set my face, I've got my contour, bronzer, blush on. I don't have highlight on because we're going to use one from the palette. And this eyelid is primed, but I did not set it with powder because I did not want to have like a set base because I want these shadows to have like the best chance possible of being as pigmented as possible. So the first shade that I'm taking is the shade Liquor, which is the kind of deepest purple, and I'm gonna pop this through my crease. This shade is really pigmented. It is clinging in some patches to some of where my base is on. Well, it's on the whole thing, but I do feel like it is kind of clinging a little bit. It looks good, but ever so slightly patchy. The next shade I went in with was the shade Funky. You know I love a bright pink. I'm putting such a little amount of pressure on my skin, but these colours are depositing really beautifully. This bright pink is great, definitely one of the best bright pinks I've used. Next shade I'm going in with is the shade Shuffle. See, when Mitchell put this on Jeffree Star's eye beside the pink, I was like, holy mackerel. I mean, that boy just knows his stuff, doesn't he? And I'm going to go in with a bit of the shade Keen, which is the bright yellow. Go around the edges of Shuffle, that tangerine colour. I am really impressed by these shadows on application. When I was doing the other eye, I was thinking in my head, I was like, these are really good shadows, really good brights, really good deep colours, like they are really, really good. They're not the best shadows I've ever tried, like they're not blowing me away, but they are very good. So yeah, it's up to you if you feel you want to spend £40 on it. And the reason that I was put off, like I said, was because it's quite an unknown brand, really, so it's quite a lot of money to just like fork out on a palette. I'm going to go in with the shade Wasted now, which is a really good, actually, bright vivid purple. I'm taking that through my crease and above my crease. I'm really not getting a lot of fallout either. Just don't want to put too much pressure on your brush or on your face. Just really be gentle. I think a lot of us are way too rough when we apply our makeup. You just need to be super gentle. And I'm going to go back in with Funky. Just on that brush, that's by the way the Morphe M506. I'm going back in with Shuffle. I'm going to blend out the top of the pink. Oakley dokley, we've reached an exciting part. I'm going to take the shade Foolish, and I'm just going to start popping this all over my eyelid for that gorgeous, like, corally pink shade. And up into my crease as well, because I can blend it afterwards. Such an unusual colour as well. I'm going to go back in with a tiny bit of Wasted, the bright purple, and just blend the edges. Then I'm going to take the shade Wasted again and just pop that on like the outer fifth of my lid. I don't want it to come too much across. So for liner, I just went in with my NYX Liquid Suede in the shade Run the World. Just putting some on the back of my hand. And I'm going to do a wing shape, but just to the outer corner. And then I'm just going to set that in place using the shade Wasted, which is a lot deeper than the liquid lipstick I just used, but it's going to tie in nicely with the outer corner. And then I'm just taking that on a fluffy brush, the shade Wasted, just making sure it's blended on that outer edge. The lashes I'm going to be using are the Glamify lashes in GB11. These are really, really, really thick, really full, way too wide for my eye, so I cut off quite a hefty chunk. They are so thick. I love them. Right, let's move on to the lower lash line. For my inner corner, I'm going to take the shade Pink Me. This reminds me of, can't remember, Cube. Is it Cube from the Subculture? That pink reflect one. Okay, so for the bottom lash line, I'm taking my Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick in Prom Night. I'm going to put this in my waterline and along my lower lash line. So yeah, I'm just pulling it along the lower lash line just to give a really strong pink base. Then I'm going to take the shade Funky. Keep wanting to call it Frisky. And then on my outer corner, I'm going to take the shade Liquor. Pack that on the outer corner. Then I'm going to take the shade Shuffle. Blend the bottom edge. So now we can move on and test the highlights. So Sinner, as we've seen, too dark for my skin tone. Saint looks better. It might still be too dark, but we'll give it a go. I've heard these aren't the most pigmented highlights in the world, but they must be pretty good. I mean, that looks pretty good, do you not think? That's dry as well. I really like that highlighter a lot. I'm going to take a pinch more of Foolish. And then finish off with Lower Lash Mascara. I do absolutely love that highlight, but just when I looked up closer when I was like perfecting my mascara, it's not the most complimentary on like skin texture. It's emphasizing it a tiny like pinch. I don't mind that so much for a blinding highlight, but just to make you aware that that happens. So I'll just show you the eyes up close now. So this is of course the finished look. Let me know what you think of it. Obviously it's a recreation, not a very good one I'm sure, but yeah, I really like how the look came out. It's very dramatic, it's very smoky. I decided to go for a nude lip. I just wasn't in the mood for a pink lip, I'll be honest, but you could definitely do a pink lip with this. So to round up my thoughts on the Bperfect x Stacey Marie palette, it is expensive. Like I said, that is what put me off it at the beginning. It's why I didn't pick it up. But you see, when I saw that video that Mitchell put up, I was like, I do need this. So yes, while I could have lived without it, bit the bullet, bought it, very happy with it, would recommend. If you're willing to spend 40 bucks and buy my lover. That could have been bad, but we're all good. We're all good. Yeah, if you're willing to spend £40, I would recommend it. If you want a brights palette, but also have neutrals, a couple of highlights, yeah, I mean, it's fab, isn't it? So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. I know it took me just to jump on this bandwagon, but oh well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Yeah, I quite like how this look came out. I think it did alright. I can't itch my face because I've got blue eyeshadow on my finger. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.